Welcome to AmericanFreePress.net. I'm roving editor Mark Anderson here on Bilderberg Day number 2, 2013 in Watford, England. And I'm with some very noted journalists here in the UK. Brian Gerrish, co-editor of the UK column, and his partner Mike Robinson with the UK column. And the UK column has been online and in hard copy a really cutting-edge news outlet to expose the Bilderbergers, among other scandals and conspiratorial groups and collusive kind of goings-on in and around the UK. Thanks for being with me, guys.
Pleasure.
Brian, starting with you, you just spoke with the police recently here at what looked like their base of operations. What did you tell them in terms of some pertinent matters, in terms of why should they really help protect the Bilderbergers? And you gave them some reasons why maybe they should question that. What were some of those?
Well, the main one we said is that we've got a gentleman called Marcus Agius, who used to be the chairman of Barclays Bank. Barclays Bank involved in various scandals over rate rigging, etc. And that man is now in a private hotel. He's going to be meeting with senior British politicians, and I understand David Cameron later today. So we said to the police, so we've got a man who's, at least the banking business has been involved in fraud and corruption essentially, and yet you are in the process of protecting them. And they went very quiet, but obviously they were thinking about it. And the other thing we've pointed out to them is everything's being privatised, so the police are in danger of losing their jobs as the jobs are given to private security companies.
And I know I reiterated and expanded on that talking to them that the Bilderbergers are very anti-working class, and so privatization would sweep their jobs away, and many other working class jobs, and the entire economy of the UK could go down. Now, Mike, you too have been covering this and watching the Bilderbergers for a while, and the UK column really looks at a lot of the individuals that are involved in this. Tell us a little bit about some of those, like George Osborne and some of the MPs involved in this.
I think what's most fascinating about this is the cross-party cooperation. So Ken Clarke, for example.
Ken Clarke, there's the other.
Ken Clarke is currently a minister without portfolio, but he has been Chancellor of the Exchequer, he has been Justice Secretary. He took Tony Blair to the Bilderberg Group for his first visit. He held his hand that first time. And then they both lied about it in Parliament because Tony Blair denied that he had been at all, and Kenneth Clarke didn't say anything to change that lie. So they took the same flight. They stayed in the same hotel, obviously, but Tony Blair was brought there by Kenneth Clarke. Kenneth Clarke is ostensibly a Conservative Party member. Tony Blair was ostensibly Labour Party. So theoretically, according to the traditional political model, there should be no interaction between these two at this kind of level, when in fact there is.
And you guys have been remarkable in pointing out the individuals in Bilderberg and their crimes and misdemeanors and malfeasance and misfeasance and all that. And I think that's important to keep that in mind and not just look at the overall group, as important as that is, and their sweeping changes, but the individuals, because that has to do with legalities, questions of justice, questions of breaking the law.
Well, this is true. Ed Balls is there, and we've got the documentation which shows that the last time he went, he charged his travel to the public purse, was when, of course, Bilderberg's own rules say that people are meeting in a private capacity. So when he was challenged on it, he just dismissed it. So the arrogance, it's criminal, it's malfeasance in public office is the correct expression. But the arrogance that goes with it, I am above the law. So we've got another person, Ed Balls, who's deliberately manipulated his travel costs with public money, is being protected by the British police. And the police, I think, are pretty embarrassed about it.
And so it goes, ladies and gentlemen, those of you watching here, that the Bilderbergers is about individual malfeasance and much worse, not just the group phenomenon of them meeting for a United States of Europe and for other sweeping changes like a single military for all of Europe and other proposals that have come through the Brookings Institution that point toward that's what may be happening at Bilderberg now. A North American European Free Trade Agreement being another thing on the Brookings Institution bandwagon or agenda, and Brookings sends people along with other think tanks represented here at Bilderberg. So you have the big things, you have the smaller picture, and this tapestry emerges. Any final comments, guys? Mike?
Well,
There's a lot of hoopla right now as the...
But they're up there in that hotel. They're relatively safe at the moment because we can't get anywhere near them. So, you know, these guys have in many cases committed criminal offences. Marcus Aegis being a perfect example. These people need to be brought to justice, not given a lap of luxury up there.
Right, and Brian, any final remarks as we wind up this first video for AmericanFreePress.net?
Right, well, just one on a favourite topic, which of course Marcus Aegis is also a trustee of the BBC, paid £48,000 for 28 days work a year. So we've got the BBC inside the Bilderberg meeting, but we don't know whether they're acting as BBC or as banker. When we talked to the BBC teams who were here yesterday, they didn't want to discuss that subject. So BBC up to its normal tricks of propaganda for the British government, but on a positive note, with many good people here who are reporting, making their own videos of what's going on. And I think if good people push out the alternative media, that is going to overtake mainstream. We know the mainstream media is now struggling to hold back the knowledge from ordinary people.
Right.
So get out there and get it recorded and get it on the net, as you're doing.
And may we become the mainstream. Brian Gerrish with the UK column and Mike Robinson of the UK column. We'll see you next time here on AmericanFreePress.net.